All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull up your little bio here. Okay, so Professor Sang-Seok Yoon, which we will hopefully correct me on how to say that properly, earned a PhD in Korean linguistics from the University of Hawaii at Manoa and joined the Department of Asian and Slavic Languages and Literatures in 2012. He's serving as the coordinator of the Korean program. The focus of his research is sociolinguistics, pragmatics, and second language acquisition. He specializes in linguistic politeness of the Korean language and is one of the authors of the integrated Korean textbook series by the University of Hawaii Press, the most commonly used Korean textbook in the US. We got a famous author on our hands here, folks. So we're glad to have you and go ahead and take it away.
안녕하세요. Hello, everyone. Yeah, my name is Sang-Seok Yoon, and as was introduced, I'm in charge of the Korean program at the University of Iowa for about 11 years. So when I first came to Iowa, we had lots of Chinese international students in Korean classes, but recently we don't really have a lot of international students. Instead, we have many Iowan students in Korean classes because Korean culture is very popular among younger generations in the United States. So yeah, I have seen lots of changes, in terms of this demography and atmosphere of the Korean language education in the Midwest area, at the heart of, United States. I can notice some familiar names. Lara Romero, she took my class before. 안녕하세요. 예. And Tioshi is here too. So yeah, uh, good. Let me just briefly talk about myself a little more. So I majored in linguistics in Korea, so for a BA in Korea. And I studied Korean as a second language, Korean linguistics, and Korean culture, those topics at the University of Hawaii in early 2000, 2001 through 2004. At that time, I taught Korean language classes as a TA. At that time, I had lots of Japanese international students and second, third generation Korean people living in island of Hawaii. Hawaii is the place where Korean immigrants came 100 years ago. So the history of Korean immigration started from Hawaii in early 1900. After finishing my master's and after finishing my coursework as a PhD in Hawaii, I moved to University of Minnesota. So University of Minnesota was really different, like in terms of weather and this population. And there were lots of Korean heritage students. So when we say heritage students, that means, their parents are Korean. So I taught many second generation Korean people there. And somehow there are many Korean adoptee students at the University of Hawaii, the University of Minnesota at that time. So they look like Korean, but they grew up in American family. So they had like a very complicated kind of like feelings on Korea. So they like Korea, but on the other hand, they hate Korea, and they are American, but they feel like they are not actual American. So like very complicated kind of psychological state. So yeah, I had to deal with students, with those kind of complicated feelings. And there were lots of Hmong students. Do we have Hmong population in Iowa too? So I have seen some Hmong students here, but in Minnesota there is a huge like Hmong population, and uh, like early adapters of K-pops. The Hmong students adopted. They enjoyed this listening to K-pop ever since like mid like 2000, 2003, 4. So I remember those days. I sometimes played Korean music, programs in class. Some Hmong students were enthusiastic, but general American students, like just Caucasian, white Caucasian American students were not that interested in listening to K-pop at that time. But nowadays, students are more knowledgeable than me. So I cannot catch up with them. So there are so many K-pop groups nowadays, and there are so many K-dramas on Netflix. So I cannot, catch up with what my students, are enjoying about this Korean culture. So now, Korean is considered, one of the most popular foreign languages in the United States. So yeah, let me share my screen, talking about this situation more in detail. So today I'm going to talk about, I was asked to talk about this topic, this Korean face. So so I just, titled my talk like this, Faces of Harmony, Navigating Chemyeon and Myeonmok in Korean Relationship. So let me talk about this in detail, later. So I just told you about this, how I felt about this atmosphere on this Korean culture among younger generations in the United States. But what words come to your mind when you hear the word Korean culture? Can you just put your response on the chat room? So I'm curious what kind of things you recognize when we talk about this Korean culture. Kimchi, yeah. Anything is okay. So when you hear this Korea and Korean culture, then what kind of things come to your mind? Yeah, definitely K-pop and Korean food. Or for example, kimchi, Korean barbecue, traditional, conservative, respect. Okay. Movies, yeah, Korean movies are very influential in this movie industries right now. So I ask this, I'm teaching a course called Korean Language and Culture and Society. I have been teaching Korean this course for many years. And on the first day of my class, I asked this question to my students. 그래서 I still keep some records. So I put that in this, website where they built this kind of stuff. So I put students' answers and got this kind of image. So you can see some big fonts like food, so K-drama, transportation. So I was surprised, many students who went to Korea mentioned about this transportation system of Korea. So yeah, of course you can see kimchi, K-dramas, 제주 아일랜드, 그렇죠. So, yeah, I categorize these answers under this category of philosophical. So when we talk about culture, one way of classifying culture is like classifying these cultural aspects into philosophical perspectives, products, and practices. So regarding this philosophical perspectives, many students mentioned like Confucianism. So yeah, so you may know general, well, maybe not in detail, but you have general understanding about Confucianism and hierarchism. So yeah, Korean society is very hierarchical. So older people are more respected, and in a company, high positioned people are more respected. And filial piety, I'm not sure if this concept of filial piety is familiar to you, but simply speaking, it's like respecting your parents. So filial piety is really important concept in Korean culture. And globalization, if you go to Seoul, you can see that, Koreans are really trying their best to make Korea like global. They try to globalize this city of Seoul. Respect for elders. Yeah, that's really important in Korea. And competition. Korean society is a very competitive society. Everybody is competing to each other. And homogeneity. So Like Korean, if you go to Korea, you'll see, most people are Koreans. And, uh, you know, Korean people consider themselves as like one family. We are the descendants of the forefather of the founder of Korea, who is Dangun. So we are descendants of Dangun. We have this kind of concept. So it's one family. And collectivism. So I'm going to talk about collectivism a little bit, during today's talk. And this Korean word uri means we or our or us. So Korean people always emphasize we for our country, for our school, for our company. So we is really important concept. And older generation Korean people are really conservative. The conservatism is really important concept when we talk about Korean culture. And one word, 꼰대, this word was introduced to BBC a few years ago, and they translated 꼰대 into like this condescending older people. So I know there are 꼰대s in America too, right? I think, 꼰대s are everywhere. I'm becoming 꼰대 recently as I get older. So yeah, these are the things, my students mentioned about philosophical perspectives. And about practices, how Koreans behave. So like bowing. So Korean people bow. So this custom. More like, Japanese people, Chinese people, they bow to greet. And Korean language has a very complicated honorific system. So when you speak in Korean, you have to be very careful conjugating verbs and adjectives. So depending on the person you are talking to, you have to conjugate your verbs, appropriately. So that's really tricky and stressful, for Korean learners. And Korean people use chopsticks. And if you go to Korea, I think this is written by students who went study abroad in Korea. On Korean university campus of many Korean universities, there are always some protests going. So students are very sensitive to social issues and their school issues. So there are big or small, protests all the time. And PDA, public displays of affection. I received some contrastive answers to this. So some people said that, Korean couples always show their affection in public. That's one answer. But the other answer was, oh yeah, that's true, but at least they don't kiss, on campus. But in America, you can see people kissing each other on campus. So in terms of this degree of this PDA, America is like, more like intense. Yeah. But for Korea, you can see more couples, holding hands each other. So yeah, PDA culture is, very common in younger generation in Korea. Wearing couple items. So like college student couples, they try to show off, they are, being couples. So they wear similar t-shirt. They wear similar shoes and, matching items. So couple items are really popular in Korea. And plastic surgery, have you ever heard about this plastic surgery phenomenon in Korea? If you want to make your eyes bigger, or if you want to like make your nose, higher, yeah, then go to Korea. There are many good plastic surgeons in Korea. And smoking on the street. So some students answered that, many Koreans were smoking on the street. So I answered them, at least they just smoke cigarettes, not weeds like in America. So yeah, I think it's similar to PDA. And eating together, many Korean foods are designed for eating more than two or more people. So in some restaurants, they don't accept just one customer. It used to be like that, but recently, many restaurants allow just single guests nowadays. But in the past, they did not allow just one guest. And asking personal questions. Korean people like to ask questions like, do you have girlfriend? Do you have boyfriend? Oh, why? You should have one. Like, you are so pretty, so you should have a boyfriend. That kind of questions were really popular, especially from like older generation women, in the past. But probably, they are more sensitive to this kind of phenomenon and nowadays. So maybe not anymore, but still, there are people asking very personal questions. And in terms of products, Samsung, Hyundai, LG products are popular in America too. And definitely, you guys also mentioned about Korean food. So yeah, Korean foods are really popular. And hanbok, Korean traditional clothes. And DMZ, many students were impressed by visiting DMZ, demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. And transportation system. So many students found that Seoul subway system is really good. Yeah. And there are like, bullet train called KTX, and they really like them. And technology, the high speed internet, there are lots of kiosks. Yeah. And they have English information. So yeah, many foreigners can make use of stores and public facilities very easily. And definitely K-pop, K-drama, and K-beauty product, cosmetics, facial mask, those kind of things are really popular in Korea. Any questions or comments about Korean culture so far? So today, I would like to talk about the human relationships in Korea, using this concept of faith. So this is kind of, a universal theory on faith. So it's all human beings have this commonality about this faith. Faith in sociology. The sociologist Irving Goffman defined faith as an image of the self, which depends on both the rules and values of a particular society and the situation the social interaction is embedded in. So does it make more sense to you? So yeah, we use this term faith in English too, right? So based on this faith theory, actually, my major area is politeness more in Korean. This politeness is a kind of universe. There are scholars arguing that politeness is like human beings, a universal kind of like uh, innate uh, characteristics. So individuals in any culture have a positive face and negative face ones. It suggests that people have two basic needs. So, positive face means the desire to be liked and appreciated. But think about yourself. Do you have this desire? You want to be recognized, you want to be appreciated, you want to be liked by other people. So, on the one hand, we have this kind of desire. And at the same time, we have this negative phase, which is the desire to be free and autonomous. You don't want to be bothered by other people. Please leave me alone. So sometimes you feel like that, right? So we have this both needs, positive phase and negative phase. And what we call politeness is we have like two aspects of politeness. One is positive politeness, and the other one is negative politeness. So in positive politeness, the speaker's goal is to address the positive face needs of the hearer, thus enhancing the hearer's positive face. So you are talking something good to other person, like you look great today. So I like your hair. I like your shoes. What those kind of things are all positive politeness, strategy. And also, you don't want to bother other people, right? So negative politeness addresses the hearer's needs for freedom of action and freedom from imposition in making his or her own decisions. So if you ask someone to do something for you, then you are uh, threatening the hearer's negative face. So you are asking something, then the hearer should do something. You have the hearer have this burden, feel the burden to do something. Then you are threatening the negative face. So yeah, to soften that, when we request something, um, we try to be super polite, and you try to be very indirect. So, for example, if you want to ask someone to give you a ride, then you ask like, "When are you going back home?" And maybe you can start a conversation like flattering, that person's outfit. "Oh, you look great today." So you make that person feel good. And then, by the way, when you come back home, could you give me a ride? So you just say something like that very last, after you do something, good to that person. So yeah, that kind of strategies are all, categorized into negative politeness strategy. So, what does it generally make sense to you? Like, we have like it's like human beings' basic desires. But Asian scholars are, they accept this universal theory, but they criticize that this theory by Brown and Levinson, they did not understand this Asian culture clearly. So this universal theory is like mm, like the premise of this politeness theory is this: these two people are kind of equal relationships. So you have this positive face and negative face, and here has this positive and negative face, and we are trying to save each other's face. That's kind of politeness theory is based on. But in Asian society, this social hierarchy is very important. So if I am belonging to a certain group, and if I'm the oldest person or if I'm the youngest person in that group, then my role is already assigned. So rather than trying to saving each other's face, in this kind of hierarchical society, this face saving is working a little bit differently. So that's what I am going to talk about today. Yeah. Especially, Korean society or Chinese or Japanese society, we have more like collectivistic society, while this Western societies are like classified or more described as more individualistic society. So in collectivist culture, people are interdependent on the ground and prioritize group concerns over personal concerns. So, like if I were in Korea and working for a company, if there is a big event or big project in a company, it is really common that I sacrifice my personal life and work several days in the company, even though my daughter has like music concert, or my wife has some big event. So I have to concentrate on this work. As a man, a leader of this family, I have to earn money and I have to devote myself to the success of this company. That kind of sentiment is really common in Korea. So for the country, I sacrifice myself. For the family, I sacrifice myself. That kind of sentiment is really common. But in the individualistic culture, people are autonomous and independent of the group and prioritize personal concerns over group concerns. So yeah, but it's not like extreme dichotomy. It cannot be just dichotomized. I have seen many American people who value this groups value. Uh, and in Korea too, there are many people who are really selfish and just think about themselves. So we cannot simply say Korean society is like collectivism is really strong, and in America, it's people are always like individualistic. It's a kind of trend. So yeah, I would say that this collectivism is stronger in Korean society, and individualism is stronger in the Western countries. Hmm. Okay, then I would like to generally talk about cultural codes. So what kind of concepts are representing this Korean culture, more like thrift on words. In Korean culture, like talkative people are considered really uh, shallow and not reliable. I think it is because this Buddhism has like a long you know Buddhism has been prevalent in Korean society for a few thousands years. So in Buddhism, like thought transformation mediated by mind. So you don't really actually talk something out, but you just understand each other, but not saying specific thing. That's kind of ideal way of communication in Korean society. And the Confucianism also emphasizes on this importance of words. So like a man's words should weigh heavy gold. So you have to say something, you have to think a lot before say out a word. And a woman should spend the 3 years of marriage as a mute and the next 3 years as a deaf. It's a kind of stupid kind of proverb, but this 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 phrase was considered as a very wise phrase for women because in old days when a woman is married and the woman should live with the husband's family and there are lots of uh, discomfort and maybe she had lots of complaints but you should not talk your complaints out so you just pretend yourself as like a mute or deaf for 6 years and then you will understand how human relationships work in that family. So yeah, this kind of phrases were popular in old days. And silence is gold. This was really emphasized. So I remember when I was in elementary school, we learned this way, how silence is important in human relationship. Korean language is very unique because you can take subject out, you can take object out if it is clear from the context. So lots of information should be inferred from the context. So that kind of language is called high context language because Korean culture is a high context culture. So like Korean, Chinese, Japanese, those Asian languages are considered like, high languages of high context culture. But in low context culture, everything should be talked clearly. So I think in America, it's like in English sentences, you have to structure this English sentence with subject and object verbs. You have to put lots of elements, to make a complete English sentence. But in Korean, simply saying you can take some elements out, and those missing information should be inferred from the context. So yeah, sometimes it's not easy, but reading this context is really important when you communicate in Korean. Confucian etiquette prescribed one not to show anger or displeasure on one's face. So hiding your psychological state was considered very desirable in Korean culture. There is one word. There's a word, 눈치, that is hard to translate into Korean. I just taught a course, about Korean translation, and we had talked about this kind of concept. 눈치, if we translate this, it is like sensing the feeling of others, 눈치. So communication technique that is used to determine the other's intent, desire, feelings, and attitude without relying on explicit verbal message. And also, as I said, you need to understand your position in a group. So, as I said, if there is a group and there are several members, then you should figure out your position there. Am I the oldest one? Am I the second or third? You should figure out your position in your group and behave according to your position. So behave appropriately to your position is really important, and that is considered 눈치 too. So yeah, it's really challenging, and even Koreans cannot do this, perfectly. if I go back to Korea now, maybe I am a person lack of 눈치 now, yeah, because I have lived in America for many years. So 눈치 is really important concept in Korean society. Yeah, sharing birth years is very important. When Korean people meet for the first time, they try to figure out each other's age. Sometimes, they can directly ask each other's age. What year were you born? What's your sign? Like, Chinese zodiac sign. Then if you figure out each other's Chinese zodiac sign, you can figure out this age difference. Sometimes people ask each other's like, when did you graduate? What year did you enter your college? So there are variety of ways of asking each other's age. Once you figure out this age difference, people feel comfortable. Okay, he's younger and I'm older. Yeah. And in-group networking is really, really important in Korean society. Relationship based on blood ties, regional ties, and school ties, and more religious group ties, and there are lots of ties can be created. I'm living in Iowa, so Korean people living in Iowa, maybe we have this kind of bond with each other. And I briefly mentioned before, but 우리, this Korean word 우리, us and we, this is a very important word in Korean. 우리나라, our country, we always refer to Korea like this, our country. We don't really say my country, 내 나라, 내 나라. That's possible, but it sounds selfish. So our country sounds, more like inclusive. 우리 집, our house, even though you are living alone and people refer to their residence, our house. 우리말, our language. The Korean language is referred to by Korean people like this, 우리말. And Korean people like to use kinship terms like 형, 누나, 오빠, 언니. So older brother, older sister, they are terms for addressing your real sister, brother. But we use kinship terms to your friends too. So like my friend who is close to me, who is older than I am and male, then I can call that person 형. And if that is female, 누나. So yeah, using kinship terms is also one of the characteristics of the Korean society. And 공손. 공손 means modesty or humbleness. Yeah. This is really, really important. So you should not brag what you have, and you should not achieve your ability. So in Korean conversations, Korean conversation in textbooks, they include conversations like, "Oh, you speak Korean very well." Then your answer should be, "Oh, Korean is very difficult, so still, I'm trying my best." That can be the best answer rather than saying that, "Oh, thank you, I'm speaking, my Korean is good, and I'm always pray." So you should not brag your ability to other people. Yeah. But younger generations are different. I learned this way. 공손 is important, but younger generation people are more westernized these days. So yeah, it's different. But still, yeah, 공손 is a very important concept in Korea. And you may know this and yang. So Korean flag, you see, this sign, and this represent this yin yang. So in English, we use the Chinese pronunciation of yin yang. In Korean pronunciation, yeah, we read it and yang. So yeah, it's like a binary, like computer system, like there are positive side and negative side of everything. So in the negative, there should be positive. In positive, there is negative side. So when happy things happen to your life, always you have to watch carefully. There might be some bad things in your life. And if bad things, keep happening to your life, there is a hope. There is always a hope. So yeah, the darkness contains an element of yang, brightness, and brightness contains an element of Yeah, that's what Korean people generally believe. And 정. 정 is very important concept in Korea. 정 is simply translated as love or affection in dictionary, but it's more profound than a simple love or affection. So it's a kind of spiritual bondage that Koreans develop unconsciously or consciously through direct and indirect contact with others over a long period of time. So, I have driven my car for 10 years and I have I have some kind of attachment to my car. And I have a friend whom I know for about 20 years. I don't like her a lot, but still I have this 정. So yeah, it's very uh difficult to explain, but 정 implies lots of things. So, there should be some history and, there might be some hatred, but you have affection too. So 정 is a kind of love, but it's like a warm and calm, kind of love, not very strong love. And 의리, this means loyalty between friends. And Korean people considers like 의리 very important. So once you make friends with someone, then you treat that person as your family member, and you share each other a lot. So yeah, 의리 is also very important concept. So everything what I'm saying today is are all related to this human relationship, because finally let me talk about this Chemyeon, today's topic, this concept of Chemyeon. Chemyeon, etymologically, it can be written as Chinese character like this, and it means like face. Yeah, Chemyeon simply means face, but etymologically it means body and face. It's not simply this your physical face, but Chemyeon is like all about yourself, like your image or your attitude, your dignity. But Chemyeon implies that kind of meaning. So Chemyeon is defined as principles to follow, obligations to fulfill, or faith to save in order to meet others with a dignified attitude without a sense of shame. Does it make sense to you? So I do something. I do something good. For example, I donate money more to a charity group. Then it's a kind of dignified attitude. So it's a good thing. So I'm following this, what people believe what that is good. And I'm doing this that to show that I'm a good person. And also, I think that is the right thing. So, so I'm doing certain behavior that fits to the social principle, and everybody would understand, well, that kind of thing. So Chemyeon is really important driving force for Korean people. Faith is an external expression of one's inner nature. So I think this kind of behavior is correct, and this behavior will be considered good to be other people. Then I take this kind of action. So yeah, Chemyeon is very important driving force, yeah, for Korean people. Saving face implies that one's behavior has complied with others' expectation in a specific situation. Much in Chemyeon is determined by society, not only through social interactions. So, there are, I think, basically it can be internal and also external. So you think about yourself, oh, this is correct, and you do something to meet others' expectations. We can think of two aspects of this Chemyeon. So the Western concept is faith is a more individual concept in general, whereas Chemyeon is a matter of for one's family, colleagues, company, and the in-group. So I talked about this collectivistic society, Korea. So we value this group value. We think group value more important sometimes, but individual value is also very important. So when we think about this faith, it's universal, but for Western people, individual is the center. But in Korean society, or in other Asian countries, like this group is sometimes more important. The notion of saving face signifies presenting a face that maintains social acceptability. Losing Chemyeon induces a strong sense of shame among Koreans. So let me show you some examples later. When people feel shame by losing this Chemyeon. Shame and Chemyeon. So shame. So how, where, why, and how, when do they feel shame in terms of the action related to Chemyeon? Chemyeon is upheld when people's behavior complies with others' expectations. So that's what I already mentioned. One feels shame when one recognizes and comes to the self-realization that one's behavior went against the Chemyeon standard. So this is about self-inflicted or self-shamed Chemyeon. And another thing is shame arises when one is the object of others' disapproving responses to one's behavior for having violated the Chemyeon standard, the other inflicted Chemyeon. But even though nobody sees me, maybe I can lose Chemyeon. Oh, I did something, and nobody recognized that, but I feel really remorse, and okay, I felt I lost my Chemyeon. Or I did something unintentionally, but that was really inappropriate by other people. Then, you lose Chemyeon. So we have these two aspects of Chemyeon and shame. So I looked up the dictionary, what kind of phrases are used with this Chemyeon. So 체면을 잃다, to lose 체면, 체면을 세우다, to lift 체면, to make your 체면 stand up. 체면을 차리다, to maintain one's face, 체면 or dignity. 체면이 말이 아니다. My 체면 cannot be described because I totally lost my 체면. And 체면을 유지하다. I barely maintain my 체면. 체면을 구기다. I wrinkled my 체면. So I could see phrases like this. And I looked up. And actually, another word I wanted to introduce you was like Myeonmok. Myeonmok is synonymous to 체면, but I found that this word is only used in negative context. Myeonmok, the literal meaning of Myeonmok is face and eye, so it's more centered on this part. But I looked up the dictionary, and the definition of Myeonmok was the same as 체면. 체면. Myeonmok is described as it is 체면. So okay. But they are not interchangeable. 면목 is always used in the negative context. 면목이 없다. I don't have eyes and face. So it means that, I have I'm so ashamed. So, I did something wrong. So 면목이 없다 is used when you apologize. So I'll focus on 체면 today. 면목 is a kind of synonym to 체면, but that is only used in negative context. Please just understand that way. So I looked up the news from Google, how 체면 or 면목 is used in news titles. So I found that 체면국인 Disney, so Disney Channel. So Disney Channel is not really popular in Korea. So Disney Channel lost face. Korean dramas take over. So, people only watch Korean drama, and on Disney Channel, there are not many Korean dramas. So Disney lost their face. And Israel, this was a few days ago. Israel 공격했다 체면국인 Iran. So Iran lost face after attacking Israel. It's translated a little wrong. So they attacked Israel, but Israel did not, damaged a lot, or was not damaged a lot. So Iran lost their face. And Tiger Woods, is playing the PGA right now, but his condition is not good. So, Golf Emperor lost his face with simply 82, shots. So it's like a very, this score is like, like amateur like score. And 서울청장 경찰 입단 비리 면목 없어. There are lots of corruption cases in Seoul mayor's office. So Seoul mayor continuous police misconducts are shameful. So 면목 없어. 면목 없어 is simply translated. They don't have face. So chief will also be held accountable. So they will be punished too. So yeah, I could find these words Chemyeon and Myeonmok in the context where they lost the face. So people really care about their face, and they assumed that Disney Channel or Israelis or Tiger Woods, they felt they lost the face. So as I said, Chemyeon is like a very profound feelings or philosophical base motivation of your correct answers. But in recent days, this Chemyeon is connected to materialism, and people try to show off their wealth by wearing 명품. 명품 means prestigious brand name luxury goods like these kind of like products. And people, they brag, their luxury house, and they show off their life on social media. So nowadays, Chemen has been like corrupted, I would say, in a materialistic way, showing off their wealth, so in contemporary Korean. And Chemyeon with Lookism. So can you see the difference between this left eye and right eye? So many Korean people want to have this plastic surgery, and one of the most popular plastic surgery is double eyelid surgery. So people don't like this kind of traditional Korean eye, but they want to have the pretty double eyelid. So Korea is home to the most cosmetic surgeons per capita and performs around 1 million surgeries annually. And Korean cosmetics or K-beauty are known for their high quality, natural and organic skincare and holistic approach that focuses on both body and mind. So Korean cosmetics are popular, globally recently. K-beauty products are popular worldwide, especially in East Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Western world. And I can see Korean brand in cosmetic shops in America too. Korean fashion has become more popular globally in recent years. So people want to look better than, their actual, face. So, it has been related, this lookism, and Korea has become a huge country with this beauty products and beauty industry. And as I said, in Korea, this group is really important. So my success is not simply my success. If I'm very successful, then my parents will be successful too. They will be happy because, I have raised my kids really well. And, my son went to the Harvard. Korean people are crazy about this, a level, like ranking of school. And so yeah, in Korea, going to a good college is like a filial piety to your parents. So you may have heard of this tiger mom. So Asian Americans, moms, tiger mom. But in America there are helicopter moms. So it's similar, but they are more they take more effort on this children's education because on the one side, they want their kid to grow wealthy, live wealthy. But on the other side, they want to be recognized as good parents. And, it's about your family. So your parents, your daughters, your son's success is not simply their success, but it's your success too. One of the filial son's obligation is to make your parents proud. So yeah, that's why this parenting and education is really important in Korean culture. And Chemen and nationalism. Koreans are very sensitive to foreigners' evaluations on Korea. So, Korean people like to ask foreigners, do you like BTS? No, do you know Psy? Do you know Gangnam Style? Do you like kimchi? So some white Caucasian people who know this, they try to please Korean people saying that, oh, kimchi is the best, the healthiest food in the world. I love BTS. They really like BTS. Sometimes they exaggerate. And Koreans feel ashamed when Koreans misbehave in foreign countries. So yeah, this sign is from where? Singapore or somewhere? There were some problem with Koreans. So one shop put this kind of sign, no Koreans allowed, and Korean people felt really ashamed when they heard this news. And North Korean issues. Lots of problems by North Korea can be understood, from this perspective of Chemyeon. The philosophical ideology that rules North Korea is 주체. The 주체 means self-reliance. That was proclaimed by the great leader, their great leader, Kim Il-sung, and they uh, emphasize this self-reliance. Everything we should not depend on other countries. So we have this ability. The North Koreans always criticize South Korea. Oh, they are puppets of Americans. And they have built their great country with their own, strengths. We know the reality, but they propagate like North Korea is like a paradise. And North Korea's diplomatic maneuvers, propaganda efforts, and international engagements can be understood within the framework of Chemyeon. So, they don't want to accept the truth that they are having difficulties. Their people are starving. So they just hide those facts. And when coronavirus was, spread globally, they said, "Oh, they are all 100% safe country." But everybody knows that it's a lie. But they have this Chemyeon, and they try to save their face, even though we know that it's lie. So to open North Korea, so we have to somehow save their Chemyeon while um, you know we should have this strict standard when we negotiate with North Korea. But if we lose their face, then there's no chance to have conversations with them. Okay, so I just briefly talked about this like key concept, that explains Korean culture, focusing on this Chemyeon, this face, losing face and saving face. So the one thing we have to think about is face saving is a universal phenomenon. So it's not like Korean people are weird or North Korean people are crazy, but it's like a human nature. But Chemyeon has been acting as a driving force for the fast development of Korean society. Korean people really cared about their Chemyeon and they worked really hard. And sometimes they sacrificed their own profits, more benefit to their group, their companies, their country's development. And Korea has accomplished really huge success in the last several decades. But it has also impacted at the level of competition in various aspects of society. So as I said, there are some negative side of this Chemyeon. So people want to just show off by buying those luxurious brands even though they don't have enough money. So yeah, that has been a really issue in Korea. As Korea becomes more westernized, the Chemyeon phenomenon is becoming more personalized. So, you can see this mixed kind of phenomenon in Korea. So older generation people or, even some younger generation people still care about this group or family rather than their personal life. But, many people are very westernized and globally, they communicate very easily. So this East and West difference has been weakened, recently. So yeah, I hope you guys have a little better understanding about, Korean people's, communication, behavior and, how they maintain and build up, human relationships, interpersonal relationships. Yeah. 감사합니다. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording before we get to Q&A.